right, Mina. All right, we got a 17-10 game to start this. Welcome to the Halftime Hash. We're going to break down that first half and see how everything went. What a roller coaster of a first half, huh, Mila? No? That's all you got for me? All right, well, we've been watching this game. What a roller coaster of a first half to start with. And make sure you guys are hitting your, posting your comments, questions. Travis, I'm doing pretty well today. Man, what an interesting first half, to say the least. I think that's the best way to put that. I don't even know. You know, we were expecting a lot more from that Broncos. First two drives, amazing drives, just pounding the ball, controlling the clock. Everything was going well. And then, yeah, those second two drives, those were definitely rough. Finally got a drive down towards the end where it was a lot of short stuff. It looks like we're still not taking a lot of shots deep, which I think I was concerned of. If you guys were watching the pregame show, again, thank you guys all for coming in. Just give my quick analysis of the first half, and then I'm going to get to your guys' questions, and we'll get this comments going. So, like I said, I was interested to see that we weren't taking a lot of deep shots. I knew we were going to try to run the ball in the first couple drives. We did very well. The second drive, the third drive, we came out 3 and out, which was tough, and I think some unreal stat of like it's only the 20th 3 and out that Detroit's ever allowed. And then on our fourth drive, came out and did something similar, lost a lot of yards, got a sack. It was very frustrating to see. So, yeah, offense is struggling a little bit. Defense trying to hold their own. It's giving up a lot of cushion, surprisingly, to this Denver Broncos. Khalif Raymond, former Denver Bronco, getting a touchdown and actually getting a lot of targets this game with all the injuries they've had. And with all the injuries they've had, I've expect this to be more like a Kansas City game where it's 35-8 at half. But let's go ahead and go on down lines. Welcome, guys. Thank you guys so much. Daniel, we'll get to the Fangio interesting. We'll get to that after the game. That might be an after-game conversation as we go by. Travis, yeah, Kansas City actually starting to look like the old Kansas City, not what they were in the first half of the season. Teddy not playing very well. Thanks, Keith. Yeah, he's even his deliveries. Normally his delivery on the short routes are really good. They seem to be behind receivers. He doesn't seem to be on the same page with a lot of guys. Even that last drive, throwing a lot of the short chips. I don't know if that was a play call specifically for that or what it was, but yeah, that was interesting. Let's see. Rob, welcome. Yep, obviously we want to go out there and get that win for Demaryius Thomas. We all know that. That's the big goal. Getting those points at the end of the half is definitely a good motivation going into half. Rob, Shermer doing Shermer things. That's exactly what that was. That last drive specifically, Shermer doing Shermer things, like 5-yard hitches all the way down the field. We kind of got lucky on the penalty there when we tried to spike the ball to get that extra 5 yards. I think McManus probably would have made it either way, but whatever it is. We're making this very, very hard work. I assume this is someone out there in our Europe country. Sorry, it's not popping up for us. Yeah, we're making this really, really difficult for ourselves, I think. Shermer firing, that's a big one. Yeah, it needs to hit Jerry Jr. stride. Johnny, that you hit this on the head. I think this is big. With for whatever reason, Teddy Bridgewater is not hitting the receivers in stride in any way, shape, or form. And that's super frustrating for Broncos country because especially on some of those the quick slants, which we've been running a lot of, you hit him in stride, he's getting an extra at least 5-6, if not breaking one tackle and he's gone. So very interested to see. It seems like Teddy's not delivering the ball very accurately overall in that first half. We'll see what happens in the second half. It's not that difficult. Teddy can't throw the ball. He's a backup quarterback only, kind of along the similar concepts. Let's see. 2nd and 15, run up the middle. 3rd and 15, 6-yard pass. Absolute crap. Yep. Whether that's a Shermer thing on the 3rd and 15. Now the 2nd and 15, that delayed handoff, that was just kind of bad blocking on our part. That delayed handoff was, I believe, still was a good call, Kev. But you know, with the bad blocking and the bad execution, I think that was an execution one. And I think a lot of the stuff coming down to execution. The front line just could not block. He got held up in the backfield. That was very difficult. 2nd and 15, delayed handoffs are actually usually end up getting you at least 5 or 6 yards, because we all know that anything past 3rd and 10, the Broncos are not going to capitalize on, which is super unfortunate to say. Let's see. Let's see. Most of y'all stuff said they were planning on doing. They're not doing. Luckily, we're still up, right? I think the first 2 drives, we did a pretty good job. Controlling the clock, getting the ball down the field, and worrying that. So let's see. We're looking forward to cleaning out after the season. Talk about the coaching staff, I assume. I have a feeling this is going to be an interesting offseason for Broncos country. However, again, we're still up, right? We're up by 7 points right now, 17-10. Now we're not. I don't know if we're going to beat them by the 11.5 point spread that it ended up being, but for a team that's playing mostly practice squad guys, you'd like to see a little bit more production out of our team. Most surprised about in the first half, the fact that they scored a touchdown. I think that's the most surprising thing to me. Our defense, there's no reason our defense should have given up a touchdown in that first half against this team. Specifically to Khalif Raymond, who is a punt returner, kickoff returner, and was on our practice squad for a really long time. And now, props to him. He's playing very well. He's gotten a lot better, and he scored against his old team. So that's that. But yeah, the fact they scored that touchdown, that was a little bit surprising to me. Does he coach the second half? I'm pretty sure Fangio's coaching the rest of the season. If there's rumors about him not coming back after second, very rarely do you see coaches getting fired at the halftime. Let's see. Making the division playoffs. Let's go ahead and tune into our Tuesday night shows, Bourbon Broncos No BS. We will break down the AFC West this week, very in depth. I have Kevin made me a whole intro for it, so I'm going to make sure I break down the AFC West and what our odds of making the division after this game. We still have a whole half of football to play, and we're up by 7, so we have that going for us. Now, we are a little bit disappointed that it's the Detroit Lions, and we let them score 10 on us, but yeah. Is Judy our designated fake handoff guy? Yeah, the play action seems to immediately go to Judy in the slot, which I like. However, it's only very rarely that we kind of run that play action, and you're right, it seems like that's our only play action play. Definitely agree with that. Teddy's playing flat. I do agree with that, Neil. Neil and Natalie. I think we are. He's throwing the ball behind receivers. He's not throwing the ball accurately. It's very difficult to watch. Hearing about Denver re-signing Teddy, not a good idea. Haven't heard much about that. I don't think that's really going to come until the offseason. And honestly, that's going to be coming down to what happens with our coaching staff in the offseason. Locke is not a good either. I agree, Amanda. That's the backup. If we do end up having the backup, it's more of a collective sigh. I went to that Chargers game, and literally the entire stadium kind of went quiet when we saw Teddy going. Like, while we can be very aggressively angry at Teddy for what he's doing, if Locke goes in, there's kind of like a oh crap, here we go, right? Kind of mindset of the Denver Broncos. We don't want that. Let's see. Judy drops again, and Tim Patrick had the one drop, and he's usually the best. But again, we cannot blame those on the receivers. Some of these drops that Judy has been so far behind him. The adjustment on the body and the hands. Now they hit him in the hands. It's possible, but yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't blame those on him. I'd blame those specifically on Teddy Bridgewater. Those bad ball deliveries, especially the short stuff. If it's in the middle of the field between the hashes. And within 5 to 10 yards, there should be no reason those balls are thrown behind. Mom, yes, I'm sorry I gave you bad gouge. It's going to be tough to cover the 12 points spread. Again, we're up by 7. All we really need to do is score one more time and not let them score anymore in the second half, and we'll make it. Coach Jared for 2022, love it. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. Yeah, McManus drilling the 50-yarder on DT Memorial Games. Beautiful. One of the original, the only, I think, leftover from that Super Bowl 50 team, which is good. So let's see. Rob called 35-10, so we can't let them score anymore. We got to get a couple more scores. We need the Chargers lose Giants 100%, as we talk about. Again, join us on Tuesday night, and I'll be breaking down the AFC West and exactly where we stand going into next week, and specifically next week when the Chargers play the Chiefs on Thursday night, which is going to be a very interesting game for us for sure. Let's see. Can we win against the Bengals? Yeah, it's 1 week at a time. We still have a second half of game to play here, and I'm kind of focused on that, Travis. But again, join us on Tuesday night, Bourbon Broncos No BS, or make sure you're following all of our podcasts, pregame podcast, postgame podcast, and Ragers, and we will be breaking down this very specifically. That pregame podcast, we're going to go very in depth about the one-on-ones that we want to see specifically against the Bengals and how we match up really right off the bat. Let's see. Okay, so Teddy asking for a multi-year deal. Yeah, again, we'll break this down a little bit more. I'm more focused on this game right now, guys. let's see. So the second half of this game, first drive of the second half is super important, right? Absolutely. I think, Johnny, you hit this on the head. Now, they get the ball first, so they will be receiving to start the second half. Yeah, I think this is a huge piece. We need to stop them from scoring, and we need to come out and score to get a favorable lead, to keep running the ball. We are not well off if we have to pass the ball. That last drive was making me anxious, and we were up by 3 points, or up by 4 points at that point. It was making me super anxious that we were passing the ball so much in the second half. The other thing too is, our receiving core is so good, but injuries. You saw Tim Patrick go to the sideline with a finger injury after him getting pass interference and not getting called on that sideline play. Noah Fant going to the side with an injury. And you saw Melvin Gordon at the beginning of the game go out with an injury. He came back and luckily ended up having a few good runs on that. But overall, the injury bug is starting to creep, and luckily it's small stuff. And I think a lot of those guys will come back, tape up the fingers of Tim Patrick. Don't know what's happening with Noah Fant. I saw him kind of hit the leg. Not 100% sure. I think Gordon might be hurt again. I don't know if he's going to be coming back in the second half, but luckily for that, we have the backups for all of those levels. So, let's see. Yeah, Travis, don't ever ask about, be sorry for asking, man. I appreciate the comments. Like I said, for the halftime, we're just trying to focus on this game. But make sure you're showing up on the Thursday. We'll make sure we bring that up for you. Thanks for the comments and everything. Let's see. Gordon is hurt. Yeah, so that was last time I saw. Interesting to see. Chris, more running plays. I thought he said no more running plays. I was about to freak out. No, more running plays for sure. And again, I think that second half, we just had to get the ball down. We were trying to get that field goal, which is what we got. And that's exactly where we ended up being. So luckily, hopefully, we don't have to pass the ball nearly as much as we ended up on that drive. Again, 3 injuries to 3 wide receivers / tight ends was a little rough for me. Let's keep the ball on the ground. Let's control the clock. We're up by 7. And just keep moving. We just cannot allow them to score another touchdown. If they score another touchdown, talk about the most surprising thing of this season. 2 touchdowns, for them to score 2 touchdowns, this would be absolutely ridiculous. How do you get better at passing the ball if we don't work it against a 1-win team? Well, that's true. I'll give you that, Andrew. All right, yeah. If we don't pass the ball against a 1-win team, it's a little bit. I'm a little bit more concerned about the play calling and the decision making of Teddy, and especially the way that he's throwing the ball today. Seems like he's very far behind. I think there was one deep back shoulder throw to Sutton that he kind of called on himself, that it was his fault. He was kind of blanketed. I appreciate the back shoulder to try to get the pass interference. I think that's what we were going for. Not sure what happened there, but I'd like to see more deep shots. Intermediate to deep shots. All this short stuff is working, but we need to get that intermediate play to be able to good. And that Noah Fant, lining Noah Fant up in the wide, going against the linebacker, that was a great call for 32 yards. If you follow Ragers, his line was at 31.5, so that one catch got him that bet. So we get to cash out quick on the Noah Fant line. Okay, goes back to hitting him stride. We need to take a big shot. Let's go. Yeah, definitely no BS. The Tuesday night shows are absolutely no BS. All right, we're on kickoff time. Definitely appreciate, guys. Game's back on. Let's go Broncos. Appreciate you guys joining me. As always, we're here. Make sure you guys are following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, OnlyFans, whatever we got. We're here to give you some good Broncos content. Appreciate you guys watching. Let's go Broncos. Do it for DT. Appreciate you guys watching. Let's go.